fact to follow there or no?
No.
Right.
You've talked a lot about, on to the next game, what have you. You guys had a chance to kind of regroup, maybe mentally as well as physically.
Yeah.
How do you feel kind of setting out here, trying to see what you guys are in the big game in San Francisco?
Yeah, good. Coming in Monday, kind of, focusing on ourselves a little bit, doing things like that. Kind of a bonus day, per se. And, uh, felt good. Really like what we're going to try to do in the game plan this week. And obviously it's a really good team. Talk about that, just how every level they have really star players, it's the back end linebackers, obviously probably one of the best in the game and, really good edge guys. So, it's going to be a big challenge and, exciting. It's a different opportunity, a team we don't play very often. Looking forward to it. It should be a great environment.
David, I heard you talk a little bit on the podcast before about why you like having the bonus Monday practices.
Yeah.
Just maybe offer more on, why you think those are an advantage.
Well, it's just one, you're coming off, like I said, win, lose, or draw Thursday night. Like, you've been off for 3 days, it's kind of nice to have a day to kind of like get back into it, right? And like fill out your stuff, and practice and like work on what you need to work on, versus like, if you took all those days off and just jumped in Wednesday like a normal routine, like, or don't practice Monday. Like, now you've had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you've had 5 days off, and like a little rusty, like, even just taking a couple of days off. So I've always enjoyed it just to get out there, kind of work it out, move around, get back into playing football a little bit. And then obviously, like I've said, like coming off, Thursday, it's like, all right, like usually it's those quick turnarounds and you're kind of like on to the next, but like you're just sitting there dwelling on it for a couple of days. So it's nice to come back and like, let's go practice, let's go play football, get back to doing what we do.
David, what did you see on tape from Hargrave?
Yeah.
And what do you think his loss means for that team?
Yeah, I mean, look, remember, playing, we practiced against him in Philly, but never played when he was there. But, played him a lot early in my career, in Pittsburgh, and always had a lot of respect for him. Thought he was a really good player, fit in their scheme really well, and he was a really disruptive player, in both aspects, run and pass. And, so obviously that, is a loss for them, but they still have really good players. They got Collins on the other side. He's a really good player, does a lot for them. And then, like I said, the two edge guys. So, it'd be a big challenge no matter what. There's good players at every level in this league. And, it really doesn't matter, who's out there. It's more about, how we perform and things we do.
Does it help at all having just played, obviously, as you're playing 49ers, Robert Saleh's scheme, where they have pretty similar schematically?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some similarities schematically, right, in the defensive system. Obviously, different challenges in personnel, obviously, but there definitely is some, similarities and things we wanted to try to do in that game that we didn't do. So, now we get the chance to do them, and kind of. But yeah, I guess overall, I mean, there are some similarities. It's the same type of system,
David, the Jets attacked you a certain way. They had a game plan. They blitzed a lot. Is that something that you might anticipate seeing more of going forward, given their success? And is that something, an area you're going to kind of have to clean up?
Yeah, I mean, no matter if San Fran decides to do it or not, that's obviously an area we got to clean up. And it is a copycat league, and teams are looking at, okay, what, hurt them, what did they have success on? So certain things like that. And, we've always talked about mistakes that you put on tape and that you don't clean up, they're probably going to show up again, at some point, because teams are going to see that. So, obviously there's a lot of things we got to do to try to clean up. They had a good game plan, and now you just try to learn from it and, apply it to this week. And, you try to do that every week, no matter what, even if you win a game and you got hit on a blitz or something, like teams see that. Maybe they don't run it because the next week runs a different scheme. But if a team runs some type of similar scheme, they're going to see that and, look to see how they can use it to their advantage.
How do you feel like the in-game communication has been with your group thus far?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been good. I think, some moving parts in there, obviously. But, I think, throughout the year, I mean, it's such a short sample size, obviously. And then last week, you know, was what it was. But, for the most part, felt like we've done a good job trying to adjust to certain things, do certain things, really from the whole offensive standpoint. And that's constant every week, right? Because there's probably going to be some new wrinkle, some adjustment, whatever it may be. Maybe a tell, who knows? That's a big thing. Just trying to communicate, and the big thing that's always been talked about, like as players, you got to be honest too, because the iPads are great. They're a great tool, but they don't really tell the whole picture. They're still pictures, and like, I can remember Dante laying into somebody for probably me for not blocking a guy. I blocked him, but on the picture they got it looks like I'm not blocking him or I'm getting beat, but in reality I was blocking him, and that felt good when he apologized. But so the pictures they're great, but they don't tell the whole picture. So I think really as a player, you just try to be honest. What happened, what you saw. If you got beat, tell them, like, don't make something up, because obviously on the plane ride back or Sunday night, Monday, whatever, whenever the coaches watch the film, they're going to see, and you don't ever want that to be the case if you're sitting there telling them something that's not true. So, I think we've done a pretty good job of that, and there's always areas of improvement.
You mentioned prior to you coming in, Kyle is a captain now. So we had a captain's meeting this morning. How did that sort of unfold when you were sitting in the meeting? Kyle walks in and says, "Oh, welcome, Kyle." Or,
Gerard had kind of told me about it, and I thought it was a good idea. Obviously with Bent, a big loss, and obviously for his play, but a lot of the leadership stuff he does, and I think something Kyle deserves, and he does a good job of it. And like I've always said, right, there's tons of guys on this team that I would consider leaders that aren't captains, and guys like Hunter Henry, Mondre, Jay Jones, like list goes on, and so. I understand it. I think it was a good idea to kind of replace that void and help disperse messages or whatever we're trying to get done.
Aside from the normal kind of flush it run of NXT and life in the NFL, what are some of the messages Gerard or other coaches have conveyed about preparing for this game and letting go of the last one?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we talked a little bit like things we believe in, call them like non-negotiables, right? Like and those don't matter they don't change who you're playing each week. And, that's something, that more call it foundation. Like that's just who you have to be and what you have to do. And, we didn't do that last week in really any aspects of the game. And so those are the kind of things, I think you can look and say, all right, we did them this week, did them week 2, maybe we can do them better week 2. And then, obviously we didn't do any of them in week 3. So, those kind of things, there's obviously schematical things, but when you're looking at it, in that sense, like none of the big areas that we want to believe in, we hit. So, I think that's something we'll try to do.
Do you think that's a question mark at this point, or do you kind of feel good about what you guys have for a base and going?
Yeah, no, I don't. I feel really good about it, and I think like a lot of that stuff, right, isn't like super revolutionary stuff. Like it's just general football. I don't know, IQ is not the right word, but general football topics, like taking care of the football, being disciplined, all these certain things. Like they're not schematically, they're not anything like that, but like there's just things that like are football truths, let's call them. And I like I said, I've only been one place, so I don't know, but I would assume most coaches are talking about those things. And because like I said, no matter what level you're playing, pee-wee football, can't turn the ball over, can't have mental mistakes, you can't beat yourself. So, that there's the kind of the bucket of like, things you can control versus, things they do. So.
Gerard said that Drake is still taking about 30% of the snaps during practice with ones. How would you characterize his progress in those moments compared to the first week of practice?
Yeah, definitely. I think, he's done a good job. Obviously come in, it's super slow, at the beginning. And, now it moves fast. It moves fast from week to week. Like things might be called a certain thing, but they're different and there's different adjustments. So any young player, no matter what, quarterback, O lineman, whatever it is, like those adjustments and like kind of having to say, hey, we did it this week like this last week. Now we're doing it like this, and it's going to be called the same. But knowing those adjustments, the tweaks, all the little nuances. So I think he's done a good job of that. Look, any young guy that comes in, you really just want him to come in, work hard, try to soak up as much knowledge as they can from everyone, right? Like I tried to learn from defensive guys and tried to learn from offense guys, special teams guys, like how they prepared, how they did things, because you're trying to learn what it means to be a pro, and those type of things carry you a long way.
The run game sample size is obviously very limited last week, but it seems like the Jets did a pretty good job containing you guys.
Yeah.
Is there a specific thing that you saw that you can maybe do better, or is it the kind of thing where in the run game you just need volume to be able to have success?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, there were some mistakes, mental mistakes, things like that. Kind of those, call it non-negotiables, where but I mean, yeah, I think when you're playing the game the wrong way because of all those other things, it's hard to be like, all right, let's just start sticking a lot of runs in here when you're second and long, third and long, whatever it may be. Now, play the game on your terms. You're 3rd and 4. They're going to pass rush, obviously, but now you can stick a run in there. You can skip third downs. You can do all those things. And the way we played last week, we shot ourselves in the foot, and hats off to them. Thanks, guys.
It doesn't extend. Too tall for the mic.
Gerard just came in and shared that with Bentley being placed on IR. They announced that Kyle Duggar's going to be the captains on defense. Just how beneficial can that be for a team? Because obviously on the outside looking in, we see, okay, a title, but what's it like inside the building?
It's actually pretty cool. Doug is also, he's been a leader for a long time, and to have him with that captain patch on his chest now, I know that gives him a sense of honor, sense of pride, but also tells everybody on the team that he's the guy, what I'm saying, as well. Like, he's always been the guy, but now it's like, now he's the guy, So it's one of those things that I'm very happy for him, and look what he does with this captainship. So,
Kind of challenge does this 49ers offensive front represent for you guys?
big offensive line, very skillful up front. They have a great running back behind Purdy. The operation is very smooth. So really, at the end of the day, it's about us and how we handle everything moving forward. We know how to take on all the blocks that they have shown on film, and it's about how it's executed on film, and that's it.
Has a focus this week been on staying in the rush lanes coming off of the Jets game?
I mean, that's a little bit of what we talk about. It's stopping the run, it's getting after the passer, and also getting after the ball carrier. Whoever has the ball, affect them. Whether it's a running back, quarterback, whether it's a receiver, knock it out, tackle them, and get back on offense.
Gerard said he was talking to the captains and discussed how it was a poor showing against the Jets, and he wants to see what this team was made of.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think this team is made of?
I think we're made of some great things. I think we're very resilient. I think you'll see that this Sunday against the 49ers. We had a little lapse of whatever case you want to call it, but I think that's kind of a one-time thing. I think our guys are hungry. We have a lot of pride about what we do and what we put on film, and you'll see a lot of guys showing that this Sunday.
You feel like your mind is cleared at this point from last Thursday's game?
Most definitely, yeah.
What has helped you get through that?
Just, the break, time to get away, but also the taste in our mouth. We don't like that. We like to be dominant, like to be winners, and we want to show the world, show ourselves and our fan base who we are.
A while ago, but you did face the 49ers scheme back, I think it was 2020. Was there anything that you could take away from that game that's relevant to this one, or do you see too many maybe differences?
A little bit here and there. Players who played, how they play, saying versus there and there. A little bit of schematics, but we usually look at the last couple of years. Yeah.
You're speaking Trent Williams, obviously, future Hall of Fame player, the kind of challenge he presents.
Yeah, he's a great player. Been playing for 10 plus years now. He's doing a great job of that. All Pro Bowler, All Pro. So I think we have a great challenge going against him, and I believe everybody who's going to go against him is ready for that challenge, and I'm eager to see what we do against him. Yeah. That's it. All right. You have a good one.